start? Can I start?
Yes.
Can you all hear me now?
Very well.
Yes.
Is it better?
Yes.
I first want to thank the singer and the pianist for making such a beautiful musical stuff. When Rati and Sandeep invited me, ஆர்வத்தோட என்னை கூப்பிட்டாங்க. அதனால நான் அவங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி சொல்லணும். ஆனால் அதை காட்டிலும் என்ன சந்தோஷம்னா, the topic they chose and gave me, I did not choose the topic. They said an artist and his muse, the muse being my wife. So I'm very, very happy. This is the first time I'm talking in this way. I will talk as briefly as possible. Okay. Ever since I could remember, I drew pictures and my school notebooks were full of pictures all the time. When I went to college, I loved chemistry and read a higher level chemistry book, and I wanted to be in a job where higher level chemistry will be involved. I started working in a British firm as a chemist. This company made a complex product which helped the miners, especially the coal miners, in a remarkable way. And it was also a whole system. And I was happy because in a way I was helping the miserable lot of the miners to have a better system. Okay. I started there as a chemist, but I soon became a technical manager. I went far beyond the confines of a chemist's job. I introduced processes which they were doing in England and introduced new products and even had a one-man R&D department. My British bosses liked me very much and they sent me to England for an intense 3 months course in great style. See, in those days, in the late 50s and early 60s, India was not technologically as advanced as it is today. So we had to learn a lot from there. So I learned a lot. But more than that, there was a wide spectrum of rich experiences I gained in various aspects there and came back to Madras with many, many memories to cherish. But the best was yet to come. Why? Because in those days, going abroad, especially a person on my level, in a style, was out of the ordinary, and so I became a foreign returnee. That was a qualification in those days. And I was all ready to get married, and my value in the matrimonial market went up very high because I was a foreign returnee. Okay. Now, at this stage, I came to know about a girl named Mahima, who was dynamic, she was academically brilliant. She was the college student union president and a gold medalist in fine arts. And she wrote poems and had a library of her own. And in those days, even at 19, she started driving her father's car. And she had but above all, she was a very giving person. And most importantly, she had a heart of gold. I don't know why she liked me very much. So I was very happy. A person like her liked me. As a matter of fact, one of the books I read, she virtually ran into my life. And it was agreed by all concerned that Mahima and I should get married. Her mother invited me to visit Mahima during the period of courtship. So she became my muse immediately. Why? Because her command of language was very high, and so I had to match her command. So I looked into the dictionary not to make spelling mistakes and composed the words very carefully, but she liked my sense of humor and I wrote letters with a lot of humor, but most importantly, I heavily illustrated my letters. The salutation drawing would be a painting and in between there would be cartoons and lot of humor in it. She loved my letters. Sometimes I used to wonder she was looking more eagerly for my letters than my visits. But anyway, and I told many things about her. She also had, like me, she also had a keen sense of humor. I'll give just one example. 2 months before our wedding, we went to the movie to Kill a Mockingbird. And the child heroine goes to sleep, and I saw a teddy bear Karadi dog by her side. நான் மகிமா கிட்ட மெதுவாக கேட்டேன், மகிமா நீ சின்ன பொண்ணாக இருக்கும்போது did you take a teddy bear dog with you? Her impish reply was, no Mano, நான் சின்ன பிள்ளையாக இருக்கும்போது டெடி பேர்லாம் கொண்டு போகல, 2 மாதம் கழிச்சு I'll be taking a big teddy bear to bed with me. So that in well, I had to control my laughter not to annoy the audience who was sitting close to us because it was a serene scene. Anyway, it gave me an opportunity to draw a picture of a very satisfied looking teddy bear and a beautiful dog resting gently her hair upon the teddy bear's arm, which is of course my mom. And we were married. If there is a picture of our marriage, incidentally, my muse was also a beauty. What I wanted to say is, as soon as she came into my life, she became a muse because my English language improved as soon as she came, and the quality of my artwork also improved, which in later years was very helpful for me to write books. And we were very happily married. She was very keen on going to heritage sites even during the honeymoon. I'll give just one example. We took a long journey in a ramshackle bus to Belur, only to see the 800-year-old Hosalia beautiful temple. And as usual, she pulled out a sketch pad and asked me to make on-the-spot sketches. And I did many, and one of them is Darbana Sundari, which we used as a greeting card. In 1966, we saw a 120 feet long country raft with a billowing sail, smoothly gliding along Buckingham Canal in North Bengal. To our aesthetic sensibilities, this looked very beautiful. Because she did fine art, she had all the art material, and she gave me, she gave me a verbal instruction on how to do oil painting. I had never done oil painting in my life before. So I did an oil painting of this boat, which immediately an art enthusiast purchased it, and Mahima gave it for charity. But thus art became my second informal profession other than science. Okay, now she and I talked about it, and I made a detailed ink drawing, and the reproduction of the ink drawing was made, we made a greeting card, detailed in this Khadi Gramadic handmade paper to match the rusticity, and inside Mahima wrote a very crisp text about the interesting history of this 450 kilometers long Buckingham Canal, the viability of the boat, the hard life of the boatman and all that. When we came out with this greeting card, many people wanted to buy the cards. Mahima being Mahima, immediately said, Mano, we will sell these cards and whatever profit comes, we will give to charity. And this is a small way we started. And this is how our heritage greeting card project for charity began. And we did it for the next 42 years, and it grew into something very big. I'll talk about it later. Okay, now, all these good things were happening, and then in 1970, we had a very rich life, and if I tell all that, it will take a lot of time. In 1969, we are going to take up a very interesting project full of creativity and for service mindedness and so on. But a lorry driver caused an accident, and my wife had a spinal injury in her neck and became paralyzed neck down with the accompanying no sensory perception and a host of other associated problems. She spent the next 10 months in the hospital, and I read an awful lot about medical books about her condition, and I realized that quadriplegia was a far worse monster than it was. But because I read the medical books, I was a little better prepared to take care of her. She came back home after 10 months, but amazingly, she accepted her condition with grace. And she said, the most important thing in her life now is to give our little daughter as happy and as natural a home as possible. And she wanted to do everything. And it seemed to be working. But then, we had a happy life and the daughter was happy. But destiny was not satisfied. I lost my eyesight in my right eye in 1975 due to a genetic condition called retinitis pigmentosa (RP), where the retina slowly degenerates. I lost my eye, and the left eye I had only a narrow cone of vision. So what to do? I may lose my left eye too. Then what to do? Then my mom said, you do as many artwork as possible during your spare time. But what about reading books? She said, I will sit in my wheelchair close to you and read to you book after book after book. So from 1976 we started, and because she did not want her to strain her voice, I made her sit very close to me in her wheelchair, and she read to me. So the tedium was less, so I could draw for 2 hours, 2.5 hours without break while she read the book. Then 76 to 79, I realized the quantum of artwork I did was higher than ever before. The quality of artwork I did was higher than ever before. And what more, the number of books that Maima and I read were also higher than ever before, because she was reading books to me. And because both of us were reading the same book, the enjoyment was more, and the bond of perfection even became stronger. So I told our two monsters, quadriplegia and retinitis pigmentosa, you tried to defeat us, but for now at least, we defeated you. But then, destiny was not satisfied. I started developing a cataract in the seeing eye. I already had a very limited vision, a narrow cone of vision, and the cataract grew big and quickly, prevented light entering my left eye. So I became blind. Temporarily, hopefully temporarily. What to do? Then we talked about it, and Maima said, why don't you write a book? I used to tell her, when I